mandatory video.
Well, how was work today?
Good.
It's good to hear.
I finally feel like I made progress in my long-term goal.
So do you still go over to that place you used to go to?
I'm going there today, and I'm having to get Uber because there was no sitting the lift up. The meeting's at 1, and I was like, I have no idea what time I'm even going to get home from work. Yeah, they have their meetings at 1 o'clock on Fridays, and with this work schedule, I don't usually make it a priority to go, but with some of the things that are on the agenda, and I mean, I just kind of feel some kind of way about some of what they're thinking of, and I'm like, I need to go articulate my opinions. Whether they fall on deaf ears or are actually heard, I need to at least make the effort. What they decide to do is up to them, but at least I can try, and do it in a productive way. There are all these protesters. Yeah, there's things that I don't like either.
Yeah.
But making a fool of yourself isn't going to help matters.
Yeah.
Going to a meeting and saying, excuse me, I really feel strongly this, that, or another way about this topic. Here's what I would like to say. Do it in a civil, decent, appropriate manner instead of like taking over the city council meeting, taking over whatever people try to take over these days.
Definitely.
There's protesting, and then there's doing what these people do. It's just silly. It's not going to help. You just make an idiot out of yourself. That's all you're doing. You're not changing the policy.
Right.
You're just making a jerk out of yourself. There's so many good ways, decent,
ways.
productive.
Exactly.
Oh, well, maybe they'll actually listen to me if I do it this way.
Right.
Ways. Acting the fool and yelling and screaming and carrying on and like disrupting life itself and disturbing the peace is not among them. A lot of people are pissed off about the way things are, and I mean, I get it. You strongly dislike a situation. If you had your way, that is not the way things would have happened. I get it.
Right.
I feel it.
Right.
But when it comes to some things, there's a way to protest and a way not to protest. And when it comes to other things, you can dislike a situation, but there's nothing you can do about it. So making a fool out of yourself, I mean, things on the federal level not happening the way I'd like it to. It didn't happen the way I wanted to. Make no mistake about it. But what can I do about what they do in Washington? Very little. So joining these people who go and make fools of themselves, and I mean, all that does is buy me a day in court or make me look like a total punk ass. Starts at 45 minutes. I've got maybe half an hour to change, eat, and try to leave. I'd like to leave at around 12:45 so that I can be there when the meeting starts. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it or not.
Over. Menu. Request UBRX. Button. Menu. Button.
I got my Uber. I'm on my way to the meeting. I'm going to get there just a tad late, but it's alright. It's better than not going at all. This is why I don't go to these meetings very often. I work on Friday mornings, and getting over there, getting home, and getting back there by 1 is just a feat. But there's some things on the agenda that I feel so strongly about, I feel like I've got to talk to them about it. Good news is, it doesn't matter what time it is. I don't think the meeting's started yet, so I'm okay. This is a huge reason why I'm here today. When I start hearing, you're in the building at this time, therefore you must do this, that, and the other thing, I want to leave. Because I feel like that implies entitlement. I walk through this door and give my rights away. You can tell me what to do. I'm sorry, I don't give you that right. I don't know what the answer is to getting more people involved in the meetings, but to say, oh, you're here, why are you not in this room taking part in the meeting, is just, maybe I'm not interpreting that correctly, but I just don't, for what my opinion's worth, I just have a hard time with that. I think that people will maybe, if they find a task that they really either like to do or know that they're good at or something, and that they can conveniently do within their schedule, and oh man, that really needs to be done, you know, that might be more appealing to them than, you know, feeling like they have to do something because they're here. I mean, again, I'm not sure how exactly to incorporate this, but this is one thing about me. There's so much that I can't do or don't feel that I can do, and it becomes, well, what can I do to be helpful around here? I'm going to interject and say that I was actually kind of speaking to two things that had happened. One was this item on the agenda, making it mandatory to go to meetings, and another was another item that was brought up. The only person that I really feel comfortable putting what they say out on YouTube to much of an extent is myself. I'll paraphrase what other people say, but I'm not actually going to put what they say in my vlog outright. But I can say that somebody commented that they saw the same thing I saw, and they were equally as upset by that wording as I was. I reacted badly to that too. Yeah, that's between that and now this, I was like, okay, I've got to make it a point to come in here and say that this is really not coming off welcoming. It's not coming off, you know, as you said, we became members. We were told, you know, come and participate as you're feeling up for. And then to say that you must do this or you must do that, excuse me? I'm going to leave if that's your attitude. I think the point was made and heard. This place is kind of having a tough time right now. I'm not going to go into the details of what's going on. Basically what's going on is there's a sense of urgency to get more people involved in what the business does, what the location does. And in their sense of urgency, they're not wording it in a way that keeps in mind the welcoming nature of what I thought the place was when I first got involved. I think I might have had an idea throughout this afternoon of one way at least that I could at least offer to help. And I'm not sure who to volunteer to do that to, but that's something I might take on next week. But the point is, I think I made my point, and I think that I had one person pretty much feeling the same way I did, and another understanding that it's in the way we word things. But the point is, if you want to protest, what you just saw is a way to protest that might actually get something done. And if that doesn't get something done, well, at least you know you tried. You can't force people to change their minds or to do what you want them to do. But as I said earlier, making a fool of yourself and yelling and screaming and carrying on and ranting and throwing things and kicking people and assaulting people and setting cars on fire doesn't get rid of the jerk that you don't think belongs in the position that he's in. Doesn't get the bill off of the Congress floor, because that's just an appalling thing to think about, and why are you even wasting your time on this? There's more important laws that you should be trying to build. Oh my God, get rid of this. You have the right to feel that way. You even have the right to voice your opinion. But don't do it in a way that makes a maniac of yourself. Do it in a way, kind of like I did, where you just are civil and decent and say to people while they're in the process of deciding whether or not to do something that you don't want them to do, say, while it's still on the table, Would you please consider this point of view? And with that, today's video comes to a close. I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.